Alright, so this is mostly going to be a pen tester's guide, since I get this question rather frequently. However, I will preface this video by saying that last year I celebrated 15 years of using Linux, GNU slash Linux, whatever, and Unix in general. Um, so the way I got started with using all of this stuff was sort of roundabout. I'm not going to go too far into that. But what I would recommend to people who want to get into pen testing specifically, or anything dealing with red teaming, which is when you are paid to break into a system rather than defend it, would be to just read source code mostly, and to pay attention to the news, I guess. Listen to what are the latest fads that the script kiddies are using, because that's what they tend to be. People like to call them hackers on the news because, well, they don't know any better, I suppose. But the real hackers are the ones that sort of lay by the waysides, waiting for something big to occur, or the ones that actually have a job. Let's be honest here. Script kiddies are just sort of resentful teens, they tend to be, who just learned how to install Kali for the first time, and they want to impress their friends or something like that. They're not really programmers. They very rarely know programmers in real life, and so they sort of start on that pattern, I suppose. There's many examples. I'm not going to go through any sort of list because I think that's sort of counterintuitive to what I'm trying to do here. Some of the tools I would recommend to get started with this sort of endeavor would be to install Debian. That's most people don't urge you to do that, but I would say definitely install Debian, learn to install Debian, and learn to just install things by source. Go to a Git repo, your favorite Git repo, or a repo that does something that you like. You know, install a piece of software that you like, and once you do that, you'll really know how to install pretty much any program out there. Other than that, I would suggest looking into red teaming. That's a very important key word in the industry. The reason for that is because defense is typically known as blue team. Another thing is to sort of look into how people got started. There's a lot of DEF CON talks, there's a lot of Black Hat talks, things like that. Once those few things are mastered, I would recommend getting to know the desktop environment itself, what they call the userland, really in layman's terms, or rather not in layman's terms, in technical terms, and learn to do something that you enjoy on a free and open source distro. Learn to, I don't know, some people are very into gaming and programming games. By all means, get into disassembly of games, or get into the habit of doing what you already do on free and open source software. The more that you use proprietary software, the more you are recommending this or that app to a friend, and the more you are sort of proliferating that ecosystem, and the more you are sort of going against the ethics of the original hackers. That would be the MIT hackers, who view the real engineering as playful cleverness. That's how it starts. Tinkering, the list goes on and on these sets of individuals, sort of like Richard Stallman, even the co-founder of Apple, and people like GeoHots, who developed the first jailbreak for the iPhone, or rather the first unlock, I believe, and he also hacked the PS3 for the first time. So just pay attention to these sorts of things, and you'll do very well. Another thing I would recommend is to browse forums. This is sort of not a taboo subject in academic circles, but it's sort of something that people will sort of shy away from saying for different reasons. I guess the first reason I could think of is because it eliminates their need, right? It makes academics have to research more in order to catch up with this ongoing world of defense and offense. That's pretty much why you'll see a lot of people shy away from recommending this or that forum or mentioning forums in general. Try to think of other things. Learn to once you learn to install a distro that is difficult to you or was difficult, learn to install another distribution that is even more quote unquote difficult. I promise it'll only get easier, and once you do that, you'll pretty much know how to run any Unix or Unix-like distribution or operating system out there. Currently, my favorite is Midnight BSD. I think it's great. Another one is Black Arch. I think that one's fantastic as well for the sort of thing I do. But yeah, sort of go about things your own way, but don't capitulate to the world of proprietary software. Even if it's in terms of work environment, try to resist that sort of trend of proprietary software, like using Windows for everything or using Mac for this and that. That's an archaic way of viewing things, and so yeah, just keep going about it.